our team, our community. This is Condors Town, and this is another Energy Condors connection. Now, here's Erik Fox and Ryan Holt.
What's going on, Condors Town? It's Erik Fox here from Energy 95.3 from my office here at the station. A little different look from behind the guy on the other side of the screen. That is my brother from another mother, Ryan Holt from the Bakersfield Condors. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. So I'm going to take a wild guess. You're either in a prison cell or a hotel room. Sometimes I feel
I'm in an airport hotel. You are correct. Waiting to fly out tomorrow to Abbotsford. So had a couple extra days down here in LA, and here we are.
There you go. And of course, we talked about it last week. Just catch everyone up in case they didn't get a chance to enjoy the experience. It was Energy Night at the Condors game. Got a chance to ride a Zamboni, and that thing is a little scarier than it seems because your feet are dangling about 3 to 4 feet off the air, off the ice.
Yeah.
But luckily, Fidel, great Zamboni driver, did a great job. Then I got to join, of course, Ryan up in the booth, which was fun. Join the broadcast up there. I had a blast up there, my friend.
Yeah, it was great to have you up there, and you saw a win and a couple goals in the period, so it was all good.
Absolutely. Well, we'll get to the local team in just a second here. First, we always start talking about the parent organization, the Edmonton Oilers. It's been, let's be honest, it's been kind of a rough patch going on right now. They're in the last two, they're 2-6-2. What's going on with the Oilers, and what do you think is kind of what needs to happen to kind of turn things around for them?
Yeah, last night, tough loss against the Rangers. I don't think that the Oilers necessarily played that bad. Benson and McLeod connected on a goal, which is great to see. Saw that plenty here in Bakersfield, so it was great to see them on a line last night at Madison Square Garden. It's what we're all about here in Bakersfield. So pretty cool to see, two guys who, basically grew up here, in our organization have success and do it at, maybe the world's famous arena, most famous arena. So, but yeah, the Oilers are going through a rough patch right now. And, when you go through good times, it feels like the puck always goes in. And then when you go through difficult times, it feels like the puck never goes in. And it's hard to kind of get that mindset out. But, it's a confidence thing. And right now that, the Oilers are in a spot where they don't have a ton of confidence. They've, had guys in and out of COVID, but every team's kind of had that. And goaltending's been, just okay, which, hasn't been good enough right now. And, I think they need some secondary scoring from guys like Benson and McLeod. And McLeod's been really good over the last couple of weeks. So hopefully McDavid and Draisaitl will get going again. And, this thing turns around. I think they're in Toronto on Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be playing Toronto. We talked about COVID. We'll bring it up again in just a moment here. But obviously, it's been such a wonky kind of season. We obviously went into it knowing it was going to be kind of a weird one. You mentioned puck luck. I mean, puck luck is such a huge thing. It can help your confidence and destroy your confidence. But what do you think? Can you pinpoint maybe one or two things in which maybe they just do a little tweak on this, a little tweak on this, and they're going to be back to where they should be, really?
Yeah, I think so much is made of McDavid and Draisaitl, and rightfully so. They're two of the top 3 players or 4 players in the game. But I think there's a tendency to rely upon and you rely upon your superstars for any team. I mean, pick any team, and if you don't have the top 2 players going and playing well and filling up the score sheet, you're probably not winning hockey games. But that depth kind of has to kick in, and it's something that they've struggled with over the last couple of years, is to be able to have that kind of depth. But I don't necessarily think they're playing bad. They're just not getting results right now, and overtime losses. And in the NHL, when you go on a little bit of a skid, it's really tough because you have teams breathing down your neck, trying to jump you. So. It's been a tough road trip for them, but every team goes through these spells, and it's how you kind of fight your way through it that ends up telling the tale of your season.
We talked about COVID. Let's go back into it again. Read something this morning. So far, 91 games have been postponed in the NHL due to COVID. Even the Oiler game later on this week has already been postponed due to an issue with another team. If you can pull out your crystal ball and kind of see what the season's going to bring, if you can, with 91 games to still try to squeeze back into the schedule, what's that going to look like for all the teams as they continue through the season?
Yeah, it means, kind of a backlogged second half of the year. A lot of the postponements lately in the NHL have been because of attendance restrictions in Canada, and the NHL trying to navigate that, and hopefully those loosen up. But will they? I don't know. I think Montreal has no fans right now. Toronto has not selling tickets. Vancouver, I think, is half capacity. Same with Manitoba. Same with Edmonton. So they're trying to see if they can kick the can down the road a little bit and see what happens. But I think Bill Daly said it the other day that they're going to run out of time on games being rescheduled. So they're eventually just going to have to play games in Canada, and that's what's going to have to happen. I will say this: the Condors are in Canada this week, and it's not exactly a smooth and easy process to get in and out, but you can make it work. It's a little more aggravating on the commercial side of things as opposed to the private jets or the private planes that the NHL teams fly on. But
right,
it's a sticky situation, and thankfully for the Condors, hopefully we're at the kind of tail end of it, because most of our team has had it, so we're running out of people to test. So it's been a wonky couple of weeks, but we're back in the rhythm.
Well, let's talk about the rhythm that the Condors have been on. Let me jump into Condors update. We talked about a lot of times, even the games in which the Condors have lost throughout the season. You guys always felt like you guys were still in it to the end, and you guys have really been proving that, because you've been doing a whole lot of OT lately. How's that been, and what's that do for the team when you get bonus hockey night after night?
Yeah, 3 straight overtime games. Won one of them, lost 2 of them, and I think they left points on the table on Sunday in Ontario against a really good Ontario team. The Condors were up 2-0 going into the third, and probably should have won that hockey game. I think they'll probably feel pretty slighted that they didn't end up winning the game. They did get a point, so that's a positive. So, I look at it like, well, you beat Ontario in overtime on Wednesday, so you might have stole a point there, and then, they come back and steal a point on Sunday, and you probably end up with the same amount of points you're probably expecting going into the week. So, 500 hockey team, you are what your record says you are, but, this team is, certainly trending upwards in terms of the lineup, and being able to get Stuart Skinner back between the pipes has been huge. Not to say that Konovalov and Rodrigue weren't playing well, but Skinner's on a different level at this stage of his career. And then the usual suspects are doing what they do. Griffith and Marody, and now Raphael Lavoie had a really strong week as well. James Hamlin had a really strong week. Philip Broberg is back on the blue line. So this team right now is as full as it's going to be. I think, we're without our captain, Brad Malone, but other than that, this team's pretty full right now. So we'll see what happens up in Abbotsford. It's a big 4-game set, because the Canucks are kind of right in that same grouping as the Condors right now.
You mentioned Skinner. Of course, last Wednesday we had Energy Night out there, and like, for anyone who has not heard the story, I mean, Skinner was by the skin of his teeth arriving at the arena, right?
Yeah, we had to push back warm-ups a couple of minutes so that he could stretch and get out there. Again, travel issues and things like that, and thankfully Ontario was cool with it, because otherwise we wouldn't have had a game. We had no other option. Stu was the option, so so that was great to see. It's just another thing that happens, and it turns out to be a great story. Ended up winning the game in overtime, and made some huge saves down the stretch. And what you're getting every night out of him. He's someone you don't have to worry about, and he's more hard on himself than anybody. So he's a consummate professional, and he's going to have a lengthy NHL career, and we're fortunate to have him for however long we have him.
Wait, you're not going to get on the pads and go take care of it, or get Matt Riley out there as well on the pads?
Not a chance.
Get Fidel off the Zamboni and get him in the pipes.
They don't pay me enough.
Fair enough. So let's talk about the road trip. Obviously, it's a huge road trip. The Abbotsford games got postponed, got rescheduled into this, and you guys are supposed to have 4 games in 6 days. Now it's 4 games in 5 days. what does that do with the team? Because I mean, it's a lot like last season where you felt like you saw the same team consistently and over. It feels a little bit like that. So what is the prep like for that?
I
going
think
against Abbotsford?
It changes kind of how you attack things, because you're not just playing a team on a one-off and then not seeing them for a couple of weeks. You're going to see this team 4 straight times. So things that happen in game and around the games are going to carry over. You know, you kind of treat it like a mini playoff series, if you will. And, you know, when momentum gets going your way, it can be, you know, great for you. But it's also on the flip side, if momentum's not going your way, it can kind of go the other way. So, you know, the 4 games in 5 nights, you know, is something that, you know, some of the players have been accustomed to from playing in the ECHL. It's not really as prevalent in the AHL anymore, just with, you know, the various, you know, you don't get as good a hockey in the 4th game in 5 nights. You just don't. You know, so they've limited the amount of 4 and 5s that you play. But with the last couple of years, you've had to kind of have it trickle back in just to be able to get games in. So I think it goes both ways for both teams. Both teams have to do it. Abbotsford actually hasn't played in 3 weeks, so they've had a lengthy time off. And, you know, the reason why the game was postponed was so that they can get some more players back out of the protocol. So we'll see what they look like on Thursday. It's going to be an interesting series, and would expect some rust from Abbotsford. So hopefully the Condors can jump on them early.
Love that. Once again, AHL TV is how you can catch out that series, right?
Yeah, absolutely. AHL TV. I think it's $1 a game, so great to watch. And I'll be sharing my Canadian delicacies up there as well too.
Yeah, definitely follow Holty if you don't already on Twitter, and also on BakersfieldCondors.com. Always a fun to see what culinary ventures you have gone on. Even in LA, I mean, you're in LA right now, you're still sharing what you're going through down there. So
yeah, you know, I found my niche, and my niche is food, and you know, that could be my gift to the world. So be it.
Love it. Well, once again, Ryan Holt from the Bakersfield Condors. My name is Erik Fox from Energy 95.3. This has been another Energy Condors connection. We'll catch you next week, and of course, we'll talk about all the wins that they got in Abbotsford, right?
Exactly. That's what we're looking for.
All right, we'll catch you next week right here with Energy 95.3 and Condors.